There's something new at the Baby Maddox Memorial to honor her memory, as well as some new legislation that could pass later this month. I'm John Serio, and I'll have that story coming up in the NCC News 445 report.
Two clubs at H.W. Smith K-8 school are working together to empower each other. We'll explain.
The bipartisan charity game goes on in spite of yesterday's act of violence.
If you struggle to exercise, maybe these goats can inspire you. The NCC News 445 report starts now.
Keeping the memory of Baby Maddox alive. Good evening, I'm Jacqueline Tenrero.
And I'm Kiana Dyches. People honored the 21-month-old murder victim today, bringing flowers to her memorial at Onondaga Creek Walk. At the same time, state lawmakers are paying tribute in their own way. NCC News reporter John Serio is live at Onondaga Creek Walk with our top story.
Well, residents in Syracuse may never forget the heinous actions committed by Maddox Lawrence's father, Ryan Lawrence, earlier last year. Though Maddox Lawrence's family can't have her back, they hope the new legislation will help deter future tragedies like this from ever happening again. Reporting live from the Onondaga Creek Walk, John Serio, NCC News.
The New York State Assembly has until June 21st to pass Maddox's law, the last day of this year's legislative session.
Survivors of childhood sexual abuse today asking New York lawmakers to rethink statute of limitations rules. That means survivors could have more time to report past abuses. Right now, survivors have until they're 23 years old to sue, but often it's not enough time for someone to feel comfortable enough to come forward. The Lafayette School District is hosting a candlelight vigil this evening in memory of a district parent and two family members who were loved by students and staff. Jamie Bell and Melissa Avery were headed to a barbecue along Song Lake in Preble on Monday with 5-year-old Marissa Houston when their car derailed and fell into a lake. The vigil will start at 7 p.m. at the corner of Route 80 and Gatehouse Road, according to the school's website.
Governor Cuomo announced the opening of a new building in downtown Syracuse. The former Excellence building has been vacant for more than a decade and is now the Icon Tower. Cuomo said by transforming a vacant office building into a vibrant new development, this project supports the revitalization of downtown Syracuse, attracting new businesses and excitement to the area. The $20 million project includes apartments, offices, and retail space. Cuomo also announced $5 million will go toward creating more pre-kindergarten programs in New York State. Cuomo saying high-need districts without pre-K programs will take priority. The funding comes as the state's latest push for early education. In 2015, New York expanded pre-K to include 3-year-olds for the first time. Applications for the funding can be found on the State Education Department's website, nysed.gov. Those applications will be open until August 9th.
While the governor is trying to allocate more funding for preschools in the state, census data from the Empire Center says New York Public Schools spends more on students than any other state. According to the census, New York schools in the 2014-2015 school year tops all states and exceeds the national average by 86%.
Last week, NCC News reporter Isabel Sanchez introduced us to the Buildingman program at H.W. Smith School. It's life lessons for boys to help them grow into responsible adults.
The girls at HW want us to know that they too have their own empowerment program called Girl Up. NCC News reporter Annalisa Pardo is live in the newsroom to tell us all about it.
The Girl Up Club at HW is the first and only Girl Up Club in the Syracuse City School District. And although it's only in its first year, it's already made major strides in living out its mission. Reporting live in the newsroom, Annalisa Pardo, NCC News.
The executive board of Girl Up will head to D.C. this summer to meet with world leaders and learn how to be advocates for girls' education across the globe.
Taking a helicopter ride by the skin of her teeth, aerialist Irindira Walenda successfully hung from a helicopter flying over Niagara Falls, using just her teeth and her toes. She pulled off the stunt to celebrate her husband. Today was the 5-year anniversary of daredevil Nick Walenda's tightrope walk across the falls. While she was up there, Irindira had to deal with some harsh winds affecting her balance. But once on the ground, she called the experience beautiful and amazing. Goat yoga is one of the latest trends sweeping the nation, and now you can try it too. Purpose Farm in Baldwinsville is now offering goat yoga. Purpose Farm is a safe haven for abused animals. Sandra Seabrook runs the farm and says it's a new way to connect the community with the animals and raise funds to rehabilitate them.
That you guys should probably try goat yoga. We had never heard about it, and I thought he was crazy. So we looked it up, and it took me about 2 months and to get on board with it. And I was like, okay, we'll give it a try. And the first one sold out in 30 minutes. So.
Now the goats won't be doing yoga themselves, but Seabrook says they're sure to put a smile on your face while you're on the mat. Fishing for summer activities, this weekend marks the start of the bass fishing season in New York. Bass is the most popular freshwater sport fish in the area. Bassmaster magazine named several lakes in the area as hotspots for bass fishing last year. They include Lake Erie, Oneida Lake, Cayuga Lake, and the Thousand Islands. But before you get hooked, you need a fishing license. You can buy a New York fishing license from the Department of Environmental Conservation's website or from stores across the state. The official start of the summer is right around the corner, but it still feels a lot like spring. Here's NCC News weather reporter Isabel Sanchez with our first weather.
Coming up next, last night's attack on Republican members of Congress did not dull their spirit.
And later, a new federal rule that helps you protect your retirement savings.
The congressional baseball game starts in about an hour. That's our top story and news around the world. And that's what's happening with news across the nation and around the world.
Is your retirement money in good hands? The federal government wants to make sure it is. A new guideline called the fiduciary rule requires that your financial advisor makes decisions in your best interest, not theirs. We looked into exactly how the rule helps keep your money safe. So Kiana, just because the rule does focus on retirement plans and 401ks, I am told that it helps people who start saving the right way and who start saving early.
So I guess that means it's not too early for us to start right now then.
No, definitely not. We can start right now with those savings.
Thanks, Jackie. Rain, we're sorry to say, is in our weekend forecast.
NCC News weather reporter Isabel Sanchez is next to tell us whether we'll see any sunshine at all.
Rain, will it ever go away? Well, at least not for the weekend.
Thanks, Isabel. A sex scandal involving University of Louisville basketball, and the consequences could be serious.
And a Mets outfielder joins an exclusive club. We'll tell you what Curtis Granderson did. NCC Sports is next.
Seeking a split. That's what the Syracuse Chiefs will do tonight against the Paw Sox. Good evening, I'm Mike Drew with NCC Sports. That does it for NCC Sports. I'm Mike Drew.
Back in 1987, they took over the internet and have been a part of our lives ever since.
Today, they turn 30, and even Facebook joins in the celebration. We'll have more on that next on NCC News. Today, we're wishing a happy 30th birthday to the GIF.
Or is it GIF? No matter how you say it, the video clip files were created on this day back in 1987. Since then, they've become popular on many websites and social media platforms. They're often used as reaction videos or even just to spice up a web post. They've even sparked the familiar debate over pronunciation. Facebook is joining in on the celebration, officially allowing users to add the images to their comments on the website.
So I've got to ask, what side of the debate are you on, GIF or GIF?
I think I'm going to have to go with GIF.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. And that's the NCC News 445 report. I'm Jacqueline Tonrero.
And I'm Kiana Deiches. For all of us at NCC News, thanks for watching and have a good evening.
Quiet here in the farmland of Lincoln, but that could soon be changing. There's a lot at stake in the next two town meetings. I'm Mike Drew, and I'll have that story coming up on NCC News at 4.
They stop traffic, jump over fences, and feed on your gardens. The deer population in central New York is a cause for concern that local residents are searching for a solution.
Those in charge of improving the condition of Onondaga Lake are looking for your suggestions. The time to comment on pollution repair plans at the lake is now extended.
It's slim pickings in strawberry fields across central New York. We'll tell you why and when that's expected to change. The NCC News 4 o'clock report starts now.
The Madison County town of Lincoln is meeting tonight to hear people's concerns about a proposed fertilizer plant. Good evening, I'm Jake Lapin.
And I'm Kelsey Snyder. Many of the town's residents are trying to block construction of the plant, saying it could be an environmental disaster in the making. NCC News reporter Mike Drew has just returned from Madison County and is live in the studio with our top story.
Lincoln has a population of just over 2,000 people, a small town with potentially a big problem on its hands. Lincoln Board of Supervisors says the town meetings tonight and tomorrow are strictly to inform people about the plan. So far, no timetable for a final decision. Reporting live in the newsroom, Mike Drew, NCC News.
The town meetings will take place at 7 p.m. both tonight and tomorrow night inside Lincoln's Town Hall.
Governor Cuomo spoke to people living on the shoreline of Lake Ontario this morning. The governor said he is looking for a permanent solution to the flooding problem. Extreme high water on Lake Ontario and the St. Lawrence River has caused damage to hundreds of residential and commercial properties on the shoreline. Today, he announced funding for victims of flood damage. The governor also announced that the state is testing a product which is a reusable and portable dam filled with water. Those in charge of improving the condition of Onondaga Lake have extended the period in which the public can comment on the restoration plan. The initial deadline was June 2nd, but the Department of Environmental Conservation extended that to June 22nd. That will be a day a meeting will be held for feedback on the assessment plan. The first half of the restoration has been completed, and the next half will focus on accessibility and accommodating wildlife.
The Syracuse Police Department announced today the arrest for a homicide this past Saturday. According to reports, officers responded to a shooting at the 100 block of Murray Avenue in Syracuse. Samuel Dixon, 38, was shot while sitting in his parked car. He was taken to Upstate University Hospital where he later died. Two suspects, a man and a woman, were arrested and are currently being held in the Onondaga Justice Center without bail. The investigation is ongoing. A man set to make his first court appearance today following a robbery last night on Erie Boulevard. According to police, 25-year-old Daniel Argy entered a store pretending to have a weapon. He stole $120 and fled the scene by foot, but it was found by police later on State Street. Argy was arrested and charged with third-degree robbery and is now at the Onondaga County Justice Center.
Lawmakers in New York State are considering new rules concerning solitary confinement. The proposal would restrict confinement for more than 15 days in a row for prisoners. It would also prohibit solitary imprisonment for young, elderly, and pregnant inmates. Religious leaders and mental health experts will plead their case at the state capitol as well. People in DeWitt and East Syracuse are dealing with an overpopulation of deer. From the area near Lemoyne College all the way to Syracuse University, homeowners say the animals are eating their plants and vegetables, and even worse, bringing with them ticks. NCC spoke with the office of Town Assemblywoman Pamela Hunter, who says they are working on finding a solution, but until then, there are a few things you can do to keep deer away from your home.
The people that, they have these problems, they're eating their vegetables, they're bringing ticks in, whatever, this is the best thing that they can do to keep them away and to prevent the problem before it starts.
The product smell is what repels the deer. Chair says most of the repellents will last up to 2 months.
The Rosemont Gifford Zoo in Syracuse has announced the name of its baby penguin. The chick hatched just over a month ago after 4 days of voting. He's been named Emilio. Just like all other Humboldt penguins in the exhibit, Emilio has been given a South American name, tying him to his Peruvian roots. Zookeepers say we won't be able to see Emilio for about 6 more weeks because he is being held with his parents away from the exhibit. But they told us he lives up to his name. Emilio means friendly in Latin.
The change from cool rainy weather to dry summer weather is good news for local strawberry farmers.
NCC News reporter Kiana Deiches visited a local farm whose strawberry crop is almost ripe but not ready for the picking. She's live here in the studio and tells us about it.
Hinkle's Berry Patch in Baldwinsville is a popular place for pick-your-own strawberries. The run of cool weather earlier this month caused a later than usual start to the season, but now things appear to be off to a good start. Hinkle's owner says if everything works out as planned, they will be open to the public tomorrow morning. So get ready to start picking. Reporting live in studio, Kiana Deiches, NCC News.
For a full list of places you can go to strawberry picking, visit nccnewsonline.com.
Well, if you're looking for more than just strawberries, today is opening day for the 45th annual Downtown Farmers Market in Clinton Square. This year's Farmers Market will include over 50 local vendors selling everything from produce to flowers to jewelry. But this year's market will also have some new additions.
Jake's Gouda Cheese. We've been trying for a long time to get a cheese vendor down here, and we finally landed one, knock wood. And they sell artisan cheeses, a big variety of them. Marinook Farms, a variety of fruits and vegetables. And Abbott's Farms is now selling some fresh beef. Also, we have got a grant from CNY Arts to fund entertainment this year, and we're having entertainment every other week.
The seasonal farmers market will be open 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. every Tuesday until October 13th. It's expected to be hot throughout the week, causing Central New Yorkers to head out and take full advantage of the sun. It was a record high 90 degrees yesterday, filling Onondaga Lake Park with people skating, biking, and just enjoying the sun. But doctors are urging people to put on sunscreen before heading out because the sun's UV rays can harm your skin.
At least an SPF 30, and products that contain zinc or titanium dioxide are work better than other products.
Doctors say sunscreen should be reapplied every 2 hours to help prevent skin damage.
Speaking of precautions while heading out in the sun, we've been lucky with the weather lately. Here's NCC News weather reporter Marley Teskis with our first weather.
Thanks, Marley. Coming up next, Attorney General Jeff Sessions testified in front of the Senate Intelligence Committee this afternoon.
Attorney General Jeff Sessions testifies in front of the Senate investigators. That's our top story in news around the world. And that's what's happening in news across the nation and around the world.
Racing to End Racism. Over 40 years ago, the Interfaith Works of Central New York began an effort to foster racial harmony. And this past weekend, Interfaith put on one of its biggest events. All the money, of course, was for a great cause, but even better than that, the winner of the community race actually got a $1,000 spending spree to Destiny USA.
Wow.
Christmas can't come soon enough for these guys as they set up for Leon Day here at Onondaga Lake Park. I'm John Serio, and I'll have that story coming up on the NCC News 4 o'clock report.
Demonstrators turned out at the federal building in downtown Syracuse. They are protesting the GOP healthcare plans.
A local pro-life leader criticizes Mayor Minor's support of Planned Parenthood.
Buy American. A new law requires contractors to use American steel. We'll tell you what it means for Central New York. The NCC News 4 o'clock report starts now.
Christmas comes early for kids at the Leon Festival. Good evening, I'm Mike Drew.
And I am Isabel Sanchez. Marking the halfway point to Christmas, the festival celebrates summer in Syracuse. NCC News reporter John Serio is live at the Onondaga Park with your top story.
In about an hour's time, this whole place is going to be packed because Leon Day is finally here at Onondaga Lake Park, and this year there's a whole lot more than just Christmas festivities. Well, there's something fun for everybody here at Leon Day, so whether you're a fan of summer or you can't wait for the holiday season to get here, good thing to know that Onondaga Lake Park, here, fun is always in season.
John, is it getting crowded there yet?
Yeah, it's not really crowded yet. People are just starting to get in here, but when you hear me back at the NCC News 445 report, it should be a little more crowded back then. From Onondaga Lake Park, John Serio, NCC News.
About 50 or so protesters were at the federal building downtown today to protest health care. The Senate unveiled a new version of the bill this morning with the hopes of rushing a vote before an extended recess starting July 4th. Many Central New Yorkers think rushing the bill is a bad idea and decided to speak up.
The goal of the rally is twofold. First of all, it is to stand against the Republican health care plan, and it is also to show support for Senator Schumer and his leadership in the Senate in fighting against that process.
Mayor Minor made an appearance at the rally as well. She called for all citizens to continue pushing CatGo and others to fight the health care proposal. A drug addiction clinic on Syracuse's west side is set to expand. ACR Health treats people who are addicted to injectable drugs. The clinic says it is overbooked and needed more funding to meet the needs of patients. Alexandra Punch, the director of Drug User Health, says their services help people break a cycle of addiction.
When they enter a treatment facility, they're already kind of like one step ahead of the game. So we've been able to help individuals get clean faster because of us.
Punch says the expansion will add naloxone training and mental health services to their clinic. A local pro-life activist, says Mayor Minor's support of Planned Parenthood is nothing more than a political stunt.
The criticism came following last night's event where Mayor Minor voiced her support. NCC News reporter Kiana Dyches is live in studio with that story.
Today, activists are calling out Mayor Minor for publicly showing her support for Planned Parenthood's Pink Out campaign. That nationwide event was held to confront lawmakers about the effects their proposed health care bill would have on women across the country. Spinelli told me although she doesn't agree with the mayor, she will continue to pray for her. Reporting live in studio, Kiana Dyches, NCC News.
Planned Parenthood says their next move depends on the outcome of the Senate's healthcare bill released today. And as a response to Mayor Minor's support for Planned Parenthood, Congressman Katko campaign released a statement with its most personal attack on the mayor yet. The statement says instead of focusing on the remaining time of her troubled tenure on addressing the issues that plague our city, the mayor chose today to once again highlight a naturally divisive topic. So far, no response from the mayors about Katko's statement.
Authorities identified the man who jumped from the 11th floor of an apartment building on James Street in Syracuse. 37-year-old Jason Jock was a registered sex offender who was being taken into custody for a parole violation when he broke free from the officers and jumped out of the window. Republican lawmakers are looking to pass a new law to prohibit all sex offenders from working as drivers for ride-sharing apps. Just days away from the official start of Uber and Lyft in central New York, GOP lawmakers are trying to extend the current legislation, blocking level 1 offenders from driving for the companies for as long as they're part of the registry, which is generally for 20 years. Governor Cuomo will have 10 days to sign or veto the bill after it's formally sent to his desk.
The United States attorney in charge of prosecuting federal cases in upstate New York is stepping down. The U.S. Attorney's Office says the retirement will be effective July 1st. Richard Hartunian served more than 7 years overseeing cases in the area. The prosecutor plans to enter private practice. And New York regulators are asking for your help on proposed changes to solid waste management rules. The DEC launched a revision of waste regulations earlier this year, but is now asking for public comments to include stronger prohibitions on disposal of liquid waste from oil and gas production.
A public information session discussing future plans for the Onondaga Lake will be held tonight. People from the community are encouraged to attend and give suggestions on proposals to cleaning up toxic waste and restore wildlife habitats. The forum starts at 5 p.m. and will be at the Southwest Community Center. Well, Syracuse used to be a booming city in the early 1900s when the manufacturing industry was around. But when that industry left, it became part of the Rust Belt. This week, Governor Cuomo passed the Buy American law, which requires organizations like the Thruway and Bridge Authorities to buy American-made steel and iron for all surface, road, and bridge projects. During his inaugural speech, President Trump promised to bring back jobs in America.
In this great national rebuilding, we will follow 2 simple rules. We will buy American, and we will hire American.
And one Syracuse construction business owner says this law will help to do that.
And everybody should buy American products. Maybe our economy will change quicker.
The Buy American law won't be put into effect until 2018.
The rest of the weekend will be filled with summer activities to enjoy with the family. Lakeview Amphitheater will continue also its first season Saturday with Zac Brown and on Sunday with the legendary Bob Dylan and his band. Today, we also learned that Earth, Wind & Fire will perform at the New York State Fair, not this weekend, but on Sunday, August 27. The show will take place at 8 p.m. at Chevy Court. This will be the band's first concert at the venue.
Well, with all those outdoor activities coming up, we'll check in now with NCC weather reporter Bridget Chavez for our first look at the weather.
Coming up next, the GOP releases the much-awaited changes to the healthcare bill.
And later, gluten allergy? No problem. A Syracuse restaurant has you covered. Health care bill unveiled. That's our top story in news around the world. And that's what's happening in news across the nation and around the world.
Yummy food, and it's gluten-free. Imagine being told that you can no longer eat bread, pasta, or pizza. That is what 3 million of Americans diagnosed with celiac disease have to face, and eating out can become a real challenge. But here in Syracuse, a unique restaurant is making sure everyone, even people with gluten allergy, can enjoy their favorite food.
Good morning.
And according to Mike, there are only 2 places where you can get a brick oven pizza that is gluten-free. One of them is in Hawaii and the other one is here in Syracuse.
The real question, though, is it as good as real pizza?
It is, it definitely is.
Well, we're going to have to take your word for it, Isabel. It's sunny in Syracuse today, but how long will the sun shine upon us?
NCC weather reporter Bridget Chavez is next with a full forecast.
Okay, Bridget, thank you very much. The Yankees end their 7-game losing streak and are back in first place.
Plus, we'll meet an SU football player looking to make history. NCC Sports Director Michelle Fenelon is next. Sports Director Michelle Fenelon is with us for the latest headlines in the world of sports. Michelle?
Guys, there's a lot of news circling the NBA today, and we'll start with that.
Michelle, thank you very much. Well, a fitness trend from Germany is gaining quick popularity around the world.
And why not? It combines the pleasure of drinking beer while getting fit. Next on NCC News. Last week we told you about goat yoga.
And now we're telling you about
Beer yoga.
The trend started in Germany and now has spread to the U.S. Some people in Indiana are combining cobra poses with sips of beer in local breweries in an effort to make working out more refreshing. Right now, only a few beer yoga classes are scheduled, but organizers are hoping to make it a permanent feature.
So, Mike, are you up for the challenge?
Why not?
And that's the NCC News 4 o'clock report. I am Isabel Sanchez.
And I'm Mike Drew. Thanks for watching and have a good evening.